The clerk, please note those in attendance.
All will be noted.
Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll jump into the agenda. I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting on June 10th, 2025. A motion is second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, adoption of the agenda. Any corrections or changes to the agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor of adopting the agenda say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We have an agenda. Item 4, consent agenda. I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
A motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, visitors and presentations. The White Bear Lake Conservation District Annual Report and 2026 Budget. Mr. Pronto, the floor is yours.
Good evening. I'm Mike Paranto, your representative on the Conservation District. And I hate to keep you tonight because that's the only thing on the agenda that I saw. So I brought my own listening gallery because I didn't draw anyone else. So. But anyhow, we've had a busy year in the district, and as treasurer, I just finished the budget, and you have copies of it, I believe. And so from the budget, we produce income from permits and fees of $77,322. So our community assessments to the 5 communities is $48,481. It used to be 100% funded by the community assessments, and over the years it's changed. And then last year I initiated raising the fees, which helped last year and again this year, and it's reduced the percentage that the communities have to contribute because our budget is growing. However, our budget for 2026 only grew by $3,300. So the budget is $125,803. And the city's portion increased only by $1,399, which is $23,076. So aside from that, I've made some other financial changes. Financial changes that were suggestions from Councilman Edberg and talking with the city's financial director. I changed banks, and now we have interest-bearing checking on our checking account. I converted a low-interest money market account into a higher-interest CD. Through the League of Cities, I opened a PMA4M money market account, if that sounds familiar, because the city has one also, and it gets very good rates. So every dollar we have is earning interest. Thanks, because it was your suggestions. So this time of year, it's time for Eurasian water milfoil check, and I do the early screening to find any new areas. I haven't found any. We haven't had very good growing conditions with the rain and the cloudy and all of that, but now we're getting some nice sunny days. So we will do a complete lake survey the 1st or 2nd of July with Blue Water Science. And if found and needed to be treated, I'll get a permit from the DNR and treat the infested areas. I'll hire a treatment company to make that happen. It'll be Lake Management. They've already bid on it. And then I'll do follow-up treatment to make sure that the treatment was effective and they don't have to come back and retreat anything. The big thing these days is starry stonewort, which we do not have in the lake at all. And we have a program to try to prevent it from coming into the lake. We have signs at the launches. We will have signs at the launches. I think they're being put up right now. And we have 4 professional surveys at all 3 launch sites throughout the summer, 1 each month, at Ramsey, Mataska, and the VFW. Out of the 31 lakes in Minnesota that have starry stonewort, 29 of those lakes, it was initially found at the boat launches, so that's why we're attacking that, and to make sure that if we can get it, if we can stop it there, we're way ahead of ourselves. We also have an online presence, and we request lakeshore owners to check around their dock, take pictures of anything that looks suspicious to them, and send it to us for identification. We'll send it to the DNR for positive identification. Also, there are launch inspectors at Ramsey County Beach, which inspect boats coming and going to make sure that there's no weeds or anything on them or in the live well or on the trailers or the anchors. And they also go out in the water and check around the docks, too, during the season. Mataska Park, Washington County is doing checking at Mataska Park. I'm sure you're aware of that. And so they have a schedule throughout the summer to be there to do boat checks. And that is kind of the program for trying to find it. So once we find it, we've already approved money for it for treatment. The board's given me permission to go ahead and attack it so that we don't have to have a special board meeting, but just go ahead, there's money approved and the right to go ahead and do it. And I've already got a bid from Lake Management, again, the applicator, and the Blue Water Science, which is Steve McComas. He's ready to come out and identify anything and put it on a map just like we do our milfoil. So we have a program in place. Let's hope we don't have to use it. Now, the big thing over last summer and into this summer is the lake use study. And it's all the information has been gathered, it's been put together, and we're trying to make sense of it and moving some things around and asking more questions about it. So by midsummer, late summer for sure, it'll be out, and it'll be interesting. A lot of information, a lot of facts. A few of the highlights are that White Bear Lake always has gotten an A in their water quality. And with the LJ testing, phosphorus testing, and water clarity, it's actually improved over our A rating. So we're really happy about that. And a lot of it is because it's a spring-fed lake with not that much runoff, so it stays clean. Another fact is that fishing boats with small motors and sailboats have decreased quite a bit on the lake, which is kind of unusual, but you know, that's the way it goes. Their bigger, faster boats have taken their place. The use of kayaks and paddle boards has increased dramatically. A lot of kayaks. The largest group of boats on the lake now are pontoons, by far. The ratio of all kinds of boats per dock is 3.1 per watercraft per dock, so 3 boats, a little over 3. By DNR standards, the boat density is crowded in the afternoon on peak days, so it's more than what they expect it should be. And it can see it. I mean, it gets really busy. Engine horsepower has increased. There are 476 docks on the lake. On those docks, there are 653 boat lifts. On all of that, plus boats tied up to docks, there are 1,479 watercraft, not counting the commercial bays. In the marinas, in the commercial bay, in Mataska Park, and the Yacht Club, who rent spaces also, they have a commercial marina, there's over 600 watercraft. So I'll leave you with, said it would be short. I'll leave you with the total watercraft on the lake, 2,115 on a 2,400 acre lake. So any questions?
Sorry, Mr. Prodder, those are just the boats that are on the lake all the time, right? Do we have any idea how many are brought in on a Saturday?
No, but this survey has statistics of hours when boats were trailered in on days and all of that kind of stuff. And I've seen it's on a big page, and a little too much to give you tonight, but it'll be an interesting survey. It's about 60 pages long.
And
we're trying to shorten it.
When is that finalized? Your
when
survey?
Is it done? When will it be done?
Yeah.
Well, we have the final draft that we're revising because we had more questions to ask of it. And we had a pretty complete request proposal, and we've added to it. But the information is there. We just want to have it presented more in the things. We did, the last survey we did was in 2005, so we're kind of mirroring the two to see what the differences are, and we've done a little bit more of that, and that's really been helpful in areas that have grown. Like, I'll go off the record here, off my topic. There have not been any increase in parking spaces at all the launches. And so therefore, a lot of the numbers on boat launching have not increased that much. But on peak times, they have increased, but not that much, not like you'd think. It's a parking issue maybe. They go other places. A lot of the people, they pulled them when they came off of the lake. Why were you out there? And I think the number one reason was their fishing. Some of the other facts, that why do you come to White Bear Lake? Because they feel safe on the lake, because we have water patrol. then they ask some other people, do you think we have enough water patrol? And of course, it's a mixed, too much, not enough, that kind of stuff. So there's a lot more to the report than just a few things I pulled out.
So when you said watercraft, does that include kayaks, paddleboards, canoes?
Yeah, when you say watercraft, it's anything that basically floats and has a license.
Okay.
Now, kayaks under 10 feet don't need a license, but they were counted. Paddleboards, I don't think they need a license. I'm not sure. If they're over 10 feet, though, they do.
Okay.
And anything motorized obviously has to have a license. So when you look around at, like in Birchwood and the city, like Lions Park and that, you've got canoe racks, and you've got that at Mataska. All that was counted. So.
Will the report break down type of watercraft?
Pardon?
Will the report break down type of watercraft?
Oh, types of watercraft? Yes. Yes,
Okay.
we do have, that's in there too. Again, pontoons are the largest number, but then runabouts come next. And sailboats are down the list quite a ways. So,
Will that report, when it's finished, be on your website, or will that be presented to
the study
to
will
each
be
city?
on the website when we're
Okay.
complete, yes.
Thanks.
Yes, it'll be available, probably predominantly on the website, but if you guys want copies, you can have copies too. So,
Any further questions on that? I didn't know if you were done or if we're just talking about the stats that you just gave us.
pardon me?
Were you done with your presentation, or were you just pausing for the stats that you just presented?
Okay.
Oh, you're
Yes,
done, okay. All right. I had a question on the budget. What's the methodology used for the breakdown of each municipality and what their contribution is to the conservation district? The city of White Bear Lake obviously pays the largest amount. How do we come to that number versus what Matamidi pays, Delwood pays, the other cities?
I'm having trouble hearing you. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'll speak up. Can you hear me now?
There
a
we
little
go.
better? All right.
Yeah.
How do we arrive at what each municipality contributes to the conservation district?
That's okay. So it's done on tax value of everything in the city, and they're all added up. Each community, White Bear having the highest tax value, obviously, they're added up, and then it's a percentage of that tax value, and then it's population, and White Bear obviously has the largest population. And so we divide that out, and it actually shows how much per person. But it's the tax value, and it's published every year. There's Washington and Ramsey County publish it. And so
And that's tax value of the whole city, not just lakeshore properties?
taxable value for 2026.
Of the entire city?
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
okay.
Any other questions? Councilmember Edberg.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Pronto, first of all, I want to thank the commission for all of the work that you do. I think of a special note, the environmental care that you provide, whether it's milfoil, stonewort, et cetera, all of those things that you are on guard for and are protectors for, thank you. I think our lake is under good guardianship and stewardship, so appreciate that. I appreciate the thought and energy that goes into the management and the planning for that management study, trying to understand use patterns, where our needs are, where they might be coming from, all of that kind of good stuff. That also is forward thinking. I appreciate that. You didn't mention it. I also appreciate the fact that the commission takes on a whole bunch of mucky, yucky, neighbor, citizen, resident issues and contentions about who gets to put whose dock where and how close to somebody else's and ... And you take care of that so that we don't have to. And that is a source of pain removal that I appreciate. So for all of those things, I also personally appreciate the statistics that you gather about lake level temperature. I note them in your monthly minutes, and it's like, I appreciate the time and energy that you put into that. So thank you.
Thank you. We have a committee that deals with docks, and I'm not on that committee, fortunately. But we do have to vote on them, and we do have ordinances, and the ordinances are really almost specific to some of these cases that, it's not arbitrary. Somebody doesn't get something over anyone else. Everybody has a right to the lake, and then as long as you keep your boat so far from each other, and if you can't, then you go to your neighbor and you say, well, do you mind? You know, if they don't mind, then they work it out. Sometimes they don't. They get mad and they want to go to court or something, and we just tell them, well, you're wasting your money because, you know, you're going to lose. You're going to end up with a result you're not going to like. So we'll just settle it. We'll figure it out. And there's a committee that does that. So.
Well,
I'll tell them that you're very appreciative of it.
Thank you. That's welcome. So let me also acknowledge the changes that in your finance. I have a question, a philosophical question, and an observation or an encouragement. So the fund balance as on your book's balance sheet as of April 31 was $204,000 for an annual budget of $125,000. You could go for 19 months at your current rate of expenditure and still have enough money to make your payments.
Right.
With that in mind, why would we even need to increase? Now, the increase in our portion, $1,400, is minimal, okay? And I am not going to complain about the total budget, expenditure budget at all.
Yeah.
With a fund balance of $204,000, why are you even needing or feeling a need to tax the cities for an additional total of about $3,000 in city-based fees when you have a balance of that size? What's the philosophical purpose in back of that?
Well, it goes back a ways when we discovered Phragmites on the lake, which is a fall issue as far as weeds and that. And there were a lot of organizations that all of a sudden Phragmites was showing up. Turtle Lake was one of them. And they had a huge stand of it. And it cost them, I think, $10,000 or $15,000 to treat it. But then it was such a big biomass that they had to get rid of it, and it cost them $45,000 to get rid of it. That's why we're really trying to prevent. Starry stonewater is a big problem. I mean, milfoil we can handle, we can manage it. We just keep beating it down. But starry stonewater is an algae. It forms like a Brillo pad, and it's just huge. And the Blue Water Science, Steve McComas, was telling us about a lake in northern Minnesota that has it that costs over $200,000. It was a small lake, over $200,000 to get that biomass out so that the lake would not be totally clogged. I guess it's things like that, things that we don't know are coming, that we try to prevent, that we don't have to like pass on it and not do anything, or try to get the 5 communities together to act all at once, which doesn't always happen. I guess it's for our best defense. It gives us the opportunity to act and to take care of the lake. White bear is one of White Bear's greatest assets.
Okay, we could pick nits on the relative value of a $200,000 fund balance and its ability to carry, in addition to your assessment that you're already, the current revenues. Fine, I'll let that go. We'll make a note, come back next year. Second encouragement would be, and this might just be how it's being recorded, but the financial statements that were provided to us show a total annual budget for interest earned of $880, again, on a $200,000 investable balance. Now, it may in fact be that budget estimate for interest is way low, because that would be like 0.4% interest. That's savings rate. It's not CD rate. It's not other financial tools. So maybe that budget estimate has not been updated, but the year-to-date interest earnings are only $220 reported on the income statement, and it's like that's aligned with the 880. So even if all of our balances are invested in interest-bearing accounts, the interest seems way low. My encouragement would be to keep looking at how do we take more of our fund balance and put it into higher interest rate, or adjust the numbers, and maybe we just need to let this year play out. But that interest earned, we've been able to earn 4 to 5% on CDs, and on $200,000, that's more than what the increase for cities. So it's like playing that off would be one other additional piece of.
Right. Well, yeah, I was with the 4M account. By the end of summer, I was going to invest more of our balance into that. I'm kind of talking with your finance director was very informative. You guys do $50 million. I mean, we got pennies, but I would put more into the 4M fund.
Okay.
And there's the entry fund, and then the second fund is the fund that will put it in, because that gets a little bit higher interest rate.
Okay.
But it is still accessible. The big thing with that, with the other fund, I said, well, you know, why have two almost the same? And they said, well, one, you can't touch it for 14 days after you deposit it. Well, that's not a problem for us, but it might be for you. So I don't know. But yeah, we're kind of following your footsteps, and yeah, we're going to get more invested. Right now we got every dollar, at least we're getting some interest on every dollar. Now we're going to try to get better interest on it. And, you know, but I do think we need reserves. If we went budget to budget and something happens, we're out of luck.
I'd be more inclined with 100% rather than 160%, but that's just me. So
Yeah.
if the rest of the council wants to weigh in,
Yeah.
I'll stop and just note progress. I appreciate you taking to heart the conversation last year. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I think it's good to point it out because we, you know, measure our reserves against percentages and what the state recommends. I'll just say I'm not troubled by it. I don't think I'd be troubled by 200% just because it is a relatively small budget overall, and the things that could possibly pop up can get to six figures or multiple six figures really quick. So point well taken in terms of a percentage. In context, the cost can be so significant. And I tend to agree with Mr. Paranto. If you just needed to do a cash call from all the communities, you have to coordinate 5 different councils, 5 different meeting schedules.
Yeah.
And if it needs to happen like this week, that's a problem. So White Bear Lake is an asset for everyone, and a couple $100,000 sitting in the bank for all of White Bear Lake, and you guys being the first line of defense to manage it and keep it healthy. I'm not troubled by that at all, and I think you're managing the money very well. I thank you for that and all that you do day in and day out to keep the lake healthy. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
All right, item 6, public hearing, nothing scheduled. Item 7, unfinished business, nothing scheduled. Item 8, new business, nothing scheduled. Item 9, discussion, nothing scheduled. Item 10, communications from the city manager. Ms. Crawford, do you have anything for us?
I do. Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. You can go to. So again, it's summer here in White Bear Lake, and so for the next couple of weeks, we have Market Fest again, both Thursdays coming up June 26th and July 3rd from 6 to 9 p.m. downtown. Manitou Days is still happening throughout White Bear Lake, and encourage anyone to go visit the website to find all of those events. The Farmers Market starts this Friday and then runs through the last Friday in October, which is October 31st. That's 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. along Clark Avenue. To kick off the farmers market, the police department has donuts and coffee with the cops at farmers market this Friday from 8:30 to 10, and then of course the fireworks on July 4th. So down in West Park and Memorial Beach, I believe it's starting at 6 o'clock. There'll be food vendors, but then the band starts in the pavilion at 8 p.m., 8:30 p.m. flyover, and 10 p.m. fireworks. And I know that the fireworks committee has been working really hard this year to make even some additional improvements to the show. So I encourage everybody to watch it. It should be even bigger and better this year. And really excited. So that is, I think I have another slide, just a reminder of the election. So in-person absentee voting starts this Friday, June 27th, at the Ramsey County Elections Office, which is on Plato Boulevard. So just a reminder that in-person absentee voting starts this week, and there's information along the for everything else. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, item 11, closed session. It is with much regret that I must dismiss everyone from the audience. Please leave now. For those watching at home that can't see the gallery, there's no one here. All right, with that, I must state this. We now need to go into closed session pursuant to Minnesota Statute Section 13D.05, Subdivision 3C3, which authorizes the council to develop or consider offers or counteroffers for the purchase or sale of real property, real or personal property. The address of the property to consider an offer for purchase is 2230 County Road E. Therefore, I request a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Minnesota Statute Section 13D.05, Subdivision 3C3, to discuss the above described matters. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We are now in closed session.